Epic Gaming Night is made possible by the support of patrons like you. Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Ray Canny, and with me as always is Robert Newman.
That's right. Hello.
How's it going, man?
And it's going good. How are you, sir?
Pretty good.
How are you?
Dude, today isn't Tuesday.
No, I think that's on purpose. Is that?
Yeah. Today is
that on
a
purpose?
Monday. So, announcement, I think we're going to be changing up the podcast to be on Mondays to help with people's schedules. Tom's actually been trying to get me to reschedule the podcast for a long time because we have game days on Tuesdays. And I'm like, I can't go to game day. I got a podcast to record.
Well, also, some of our guests, like, they have their designer day on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so I would like to get them to come back, but to do that, we need them to be available.
Up. So, hey, we might try to get some more awesome guests on, and hopefully Monday will work better for some people, and hopefully we'll see a lot of our normal chat people in here.
Yes. And I'm also excited to get some of our previous guests back on that have new things coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. But yeah, so thanks everybody for joining us. We're going to be talking about game events basically today. Dun, 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 dun.
Game events?
Yeah. But I guess we can talk a little bit about what we've been playing unless you have some interesting news to share. I was searching for news. I'm just like, news.
I don't have, there's not that many Kickstarters out right now that I believe are worth talking about that we haven't already talked about. You know, you would definitely would be more in the know,
right?
For news. I'm just excited for my stuff to come in. I'm still waiting for anybody who's
oh goodness, on everything.
On everything. Yeah.
Someday, dude. I've been speaking of Kickstarters. That Trogdor Kickstarter, they keep releasing videos about it, and they're like hilarious. Like, there's a rap that Strongbad does, like, an overview of how to play the Trogdor game, and he raps through the whole thing, and it's, like, old-school Strongbad style singing, and I don't know, it's hilarious. And then you have, like, little cartoon sketches of, like, the four Gregs talking about how to play the game and stuff, or talking about just one of the mechanics. They're literally just talking about one of the mechanics in the game, like, oh my goodness, you ran out of life, and this thing happens, but then the Burnination. I don't know, it's I can't do it justice.
Burnination.
But it's just crazy how much effort they're putting into this board game with making all these different media clips for it. It's like, how many games do you have an overview where it's like Strongbad or like a puppet rapping through the whole overview of the game, teaching you how to play?
No, I do like that one. It's not the same, but I'm excited for my Joan of Arc, the second wave to come in.
If somebody raps the rules of Joan of Arc,
that, you know how long that would take? This thing's got like 6 books coming in, and they are huge.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Huge books. No, I'm just excited about that because I want to use the castle for some of my other games.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm excited to play that game, but I want to use the castle and like the world and all that other kind of stuff to play. So we'll see.
Awesome. Well, I guess we can get into what we've been playing. I played a couple of awesome games I'm super stoked to talk about.
Well, take it away, sir.
Which one do you want first? DC or Warhammer 40K?
Let's end on DC.
Cool. So I got to play Sam. It's kind of funny. Sam had this copy of Blackstone Fortress sitting like beside his desk on a little table there for forever. I was like, I want to play that game. I'm like, is it even like put together? He's like, nah. And I'm like, dude, I'm taking this and gluing it together. He's like, okay, cool. So I glued all the pieces together. And then after like a little while, and he like went through the rule book and figured everything out, we actually got a chance to play Blackstone Fortress, which is a it's set in the Warhammer 40K universe, but it's kind of like a dungeon crawl. Like, it's not really legacy because you're not ripping stuff up, but it's scenario based where you're continually going down in this Blackstone fortress and trying to go deeper and deeper and uncover clues and upgrade your people and continue to play. It's kind of, it feels almost like roguelike. It's not really like a roguelike, but it feels like this thing where like pressing your luck to see how far you can go down in this dungeon. And there's events that'll trigger and like different things will happen that can wound your guys, and then you'll go into battle and try to find items and clues, and then more events will happen. And it's like you're doing these short little snippets of things, but seeing like, can we keep going? Can we keep going? Can we keep going? Can we keep going? And at a certain point, you're like, okay, no, we got to return to the ships and try to heal up.
So is it like Clank?
Not, I mean, it's not like it's cooperative, so you're all working together to do all the things. But it feels legacy-ish in the fact of when you unlock certain, or once you've gone certain depths and like gotten enough clues, you get to open up like sealed packages to unlock more things for the game. Okay. So I don't think there's anything where you're ripping cards up or doing things that you can't reseal, but it is scenario-based. And it's got like the Games Workshop miniatures. I know this is probably an expensive game, like, because their board games with a bunch of miniatures in them are not cheap.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
But this game, it's like the miniatures for Games Workshop are just completely different thing. I mean, we talk about, oh man, these awesome miniatures for this game and awesome miniatures for that game, but then you actually look at like Games Workshop miniatures and you're just like, oh yeah, that's what Games Workshop does with miniatures. They're just completely different, like way more detailed, way like hard plastic and stuff. I mean, of course they can snap, but Games Workshop miniatures are just completely crazy. So it was cool putting all those together and then playing the game. And the game was pretty simple. Like, you're just like, you get into these encounters, and then you set up like an encounter deck to show like the initiative, and it like spawns different bad guys depending on how deep you are in the dungeon. And then you basically go out there and fight them and try to like gather discovery cards by knocking out these bad guys. And then you get back in the little maglev elevator, and you can either go deeper down in the dungeon or return to the ships. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. It's very simple. You're rolling dice, and you have like 4 dice you can roll, and you have different actions. You can either use the dice to move, you can use the dice to trigger your different attacks, or you can use the dice to like search for item cards and things like that. But as you get wounded, you're going to have less of these activation dice. So each character has 4, and as they get hurt, they're going to have like 1 less. Like, they'd have 3. If they get hurt again, they'd have like 2. And you're like, okay, well, I only have 2 dice each time we go to a new encounter. I can't really do this anymore. Let's leave. So it's kind of interesting how it's kind of pressure luckish in that way. And the combat's super simple. Like, it's like, okay, roll this kind of die, and they have special like triangle icons for hits and like critical hits and stuff. And different weapons will roll dice with different chances of success. You have like a gray 6-sided die, a purple 8-sided die, and like a teal 12-sided die. And depending on how good they are with different attacks, you'll do that. Tons of special abilities on all the characters, and special attacks and special abilities on the ships when you go back to them and try to get better item cards that give you more special abilities. It's all about unlocking and upgrading your character and going deeper in this dungeon. And I thought it was really cool. It was fun.
Doesn't sound like the typical Warhammer.
Oh yeah, it is not. It is not like a miniatures face-off, fight each other. It's a cooperative board game with Warhammer 40K miniatures. And it's kind of cool because it actually comes with a book that gives you the stat blocks. So if you wanted to play these characters in Warhammer 40K, you could. But the game is made to where you can play this whole thing going down. And it's really cool because it comes with like bags that are like thematic, like printed on one side. It's got like this like dark, like techno like looking stuff. And on the other side, it's clear. But whenever you're done playing the game, you just put your character in the bag with all the items that you found, and your character's ready to go for the next game. You pull all that stuff out. So it comes with bags that are made specifically for the game to put your characters in to save the game. And I thought it was really cool, and I think that the Games Workshop guys did a really good job making this game. And I'm actually excited to play with Sam more. I'm like, let me know whenever you want to play again, because I'm sure he's trying to get it played more so he can actually get a review up for it. But yeah, good stuff. That is the first game that I played.
Well, I still, like I was telling you before the show, I still play just my A Song of Ice and Fire. Mm-hmm. But man, I wish you were here. I'm wanting to play with the Night's Watch. I want to test them out.
Oh, did you actually get them?
Yeah, I have the core set of the Night's Watch now, and I am going to be at CMON Expo this year for Friday and a good chunk of Saturday, and I want to try to sign up for one of those tournaments, even though I know I'm going to get wrecked, because just asking questions in the forum, I know that I know nothing, Robert Newman. And so we'll see. But yeah. So
Are we allowed to talk about Game of Thrones episode on here?
I don't know if we can.
Dude, man.
I mean, I will.
It's like so late in the series. It's like either A, you're watching it.
Final episode is
either A, you're watching it, or B, you're never gonna watch it. Like that's like the options, right?
Yeah. But anyway, I'm excited for the tournament. I'm excited for more stuff to come out. So we'll see. I think they'll have more factions. I'm hoping that's what gets announced at CMON Expo is, hey, surprise, ta-da-da, X faction has come out. Whether it's a mercenary faction, like the Boltons right now, they're a mercenary faction. But I'm super excited. I'm really digging that game. And I just wish more people around me were digging it. I got my one buddy that I played with, but I need more.
You just have to teach more people to play the game. Build your own group.
I even emailed Shane from Rune Wars. I was like, hey, man, so I really don't play Rune Wars anymore, and I have this like human army. Can I trade in all that stuff? Like, do you guys need like base? You know, because there are some stores where, like, I've done that with Star Wars X-Wing figures, where I traded in my X-Wing collection to get store credit, you know, because they can't resell it, but they'll use it as armies for the store.
Yeah. And
so I asked them if they did that, and they're like, yeah, we're having a hard time getting people together to play Rune Wars, so I don't know if that's something we'd really do right now. But come to our next event, please. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. You're like, I'm trying to get rid of it. No.
Yeah. So anyway, so we'll see, but I really think A Song of Ice and Fire is my go-to miniatures game. And then with the show's only making it better. And I'm going to make my own scenario, because that dragon, the dragon is coming in for the first wave of Joan of Arc. I will like give it its own hit points type of it. And like do a scenario on that.
That thing's going to be huge compared to the other units.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think like, I don't know. I'm trying to come up with a way, like maybe it's like 30 points itself. You know, and it only misses on ones type of a thing.
And its fire breath is explosive and can knock down walls. No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. But anyway. So we'll see. Micah, you are absolutely right. I may do that. But to drive all the way to Raleigh just to get rid of some stuff when I want to play another game and I don't want to play that game, it's probably not that worth it. So anyway, I want to hear about Batman
Gotham City Chronicles.
Gotham City Chronicles.
All right.
That's the whole reason why I'm here tonight.
Nice. So I got a chance to get my Gotham City Chronicles to the table. I was like, hey, Heather is out of town on an awesome mission trip. Helping install rain catchment systems in Jamaica. So I'm like, hey, I'm here with the kids. I'm going to invite people over to play this Batman game. So we set up, I punched everything out that I needed to play and basically all the stuff from the core set, and then set up the second scenario in the book because I knew Sam had played the first scenario like 3 times already. So I'm like, yeah, we're not going to play the first scenario. But it was like the Penguin versus 3 of the characters. And it's kind of cool because it tells you in the book how to set everything up and shows you exactly where to put the characters. Like, hey, the bad guys are going to use these characters, and this is how the scenario works. It was a scenario about, hey, the good guys are trying to find this safe and hack into the safe and get the secret serum. And once they get that, then this other villain shows up, the Dr. Death or whatever. And if they kill Dr. Death before the end of 7 turns, then they win the game. So it's all about me like trying to stop the heroes from getting in there, because apparently this is like the new drug on the streets and it's turning everybody crazy and killing people and stuff. So Commissioner Gordon sent you out to go stop this. So you're breaking.
Well, did you?
Well, I was the bad guy. So
you were the cause of everything.
I was the penguin side. Well, I mean, normally the person who owns the game runs the one in the one versus many. So I set everything up. I knew the scenario. I put all the bad guys out. We had Batman, and Batman got to choose in between 3 different versions of Batman. So it was like Batman or the Dark Knight or Year 100 Batman. So it could be Old Man Batman if you wanted to be. And then the other one was a younger Robin. I don't know all the different names of the Robins. Tom was making fun of me this morning, being like, "You don't know which Robin it was?" I'm like, "Do I look like a DC fan?" Or you could be Batwoman, and then the other one you could be the bigger Robin or Batgirl. So it's kind of cool because you have scenarios, but then the scenario gives each player a choice of the characters. And this is all based off of the Conan system, which is really cool because it's very much like it is a beat 'em up dungeon crawly game, but you have this resource management that you're doing as you're playing through the game. So you have different characters where you're going to have these basically like energy cubes, and you're going to spin those to take actions, and you can kind of break up your actions, and you can be like, okay, I'm going to move a little bit, and then you go over here and you do that, and then I'm going to go back and move some more, and you get to choose how many dice you're rolling by how much energy you're spending on these attacks. The more you spend, the more likely you are to hit, but of course you're going to tire yourself out, and you're going to have to either rest and get those energy cubes back, because you're only going to gain like 2 each turn if you don't rest, and if you do rest, you're going to gain 5. And as you get damaged, they go into a completely different pool. They go into like the injured pool, and then you have to rest like twice. They go from there to like the standby pool, and then from there to the other pool. So if you get hurt really bad, you're going to be kind of knocked out for a while as you're trying to recover these things. So you're not knocked out of the game if you get all of your stuff damaged. You just have to sit there and rest a bunch, which of course most of these scenarios are timed, and that hurts a lot. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I played with Sam, Chris, our other editor, and Kenneth, which is a guy from the game group, and it was cool. Chris played Batman, and Kenneth like ran behind and was killing some of the bad guys that were like behind them, and then Batman ran up like into the midst of everything, and I basically just like dogpiled Batman like crazy, because Batman could hit really hard and could just kill dudes. Like he was killing 2 dudes a turn. So I just had everybody focus fire on Batman, and we basically kind of put him out of commission a little bit. So he kind of retreated with Batman a little bit, and then like had to wait a couple turns to heal him up. And the other guys jumped up there. Sam ran in because he was playing Robin, and Robin had a thing where he could just run past bad guys, and he was also really smart at hacking things. So he ran past all my guys in the middle of everything, hacked into the safe, cracked the thing open. The big boss bad guy came out. The penguin's like shooting at him. These guys with like Uzis are shooting at him as they're doing all sorts of stuff. I'm trying to take them out. And then the boss comes out, and they're trying to figure out how to defeat the boss. We were at like turn 6, and they're like, we just got to get there to him. Batman had rested up. So Batman like ran and jumped over some barrels and jumped up on the thing, because they figured out they could like do jumps for like free since they had like a special ability, so they could go really far across the map. And Batman snuck past all the guys and got in there where the boss was and tries to hit him really hard, but he has a lot of defense, and I used a bunch of cubes to re-roll dice and make things happen. So I took a little bit of damage, but I didn't take enough to die. So then when this guy activated, I got to heal some, and then they all were just like trying to attack, and then I was able to use my cubes to block the attacks. And then I basically just focused on using everything for defense so my guy wouldn't die. And the end of 7 turns happened. Right on the last die roll, Batman attacked me real hard, and if
he did.
If I didn't roll the defense that I needed, they were gonna win. If I rolled the defense that I needed, I was gonna win. And that was basically the way that the round came down to, like a die roll, and I rolled 1 defense and was able to block the attack, therefore not die, therefore bad guys win. But it was like down to the wire.
You won, and you were a bad guy. I'm not surprised.
If if we had all played the game before, I'm pretty sure they would have wrecked me. But because
Is it that hard as a bad guy, or was
no,
it just
no.
that scenario
It's
was lopsided?
Well, one, I didn't know what I was doing that well. B, they didn't know what they were doing that well. We had to go to the rulebook a bunch, and the rulebook for this game is terrible. But if you've played Conan before, it makes it a little bit better. But yeah, the rule book is laid out real weird and like describes things a whole bunch of times and isn't very intuitive. But we were able to find what we needed and able to play the game. And Sam's experience with the game and my experience with Conan helped bring it all together. And I just love... I mean, I got this game based off of having played Conan and being like, Conan's fine. I don't care about the theme. And I don't like that Conan is the only character that can do awesome things.
Yeah.
This was not that. Like, everybody was doing awesome things. Like...
Was it worth it?
Batwoman was jumping around. Robin was jumping all over the place. I thought it was an amazing game. I thought it was worth it, and I'm interested in seeing the new Kickstarter and what new stuff they're gonna bring, and if they're gonna rehave like the extra stuff, and what the prices on that's gonna be. Because I might.
The Kickstarter's launching in June, right?
Yes. I'll be kind of interested in seeing what they have and seeing if I can get some of the expansion stuff, maybe other stuff, if I can play the game enough to justify it, you know. But I really enjoyed it.
What do you think? All right, so if I back this Kickstarter, it's probably going to, maybe not be all in because I don't want to spend that kind of money.
The core set itself is basically... like tons and tons and tons of game.
Yeah.
Like it is massive amounts of game with just the core set.
So my question is, what is a better deal and or better game? The Tsukiyumi Full Moon Down or this game?
They're such different games.
Well, here's the thing. Like price-wise, I'll probably end up spending the same. Mm-hmm. You have somebody on your Snap called Flip Flory?
Oh, yeah.
That's weird. Everybody can see it, and he's a clown.
He is a clown.
What?
We're not calling you a clown, Matt. I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking trash. I gotta fix this overlay. Hey, Matt's joining us. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
I'm here.
So while I'm Matt for a second, and Matt is me, Darth, and to everybody else that is just tuning in, we are now doing our podcast on Monday nights rather than Tuesday nights. One, a conflict of interest on our end, but also a conflict for a lot of our guests that wanted to come on. I don't know if you guys have mentioned or noticed in the past, we had a lot of guests that would like leave right at an hour because it was their game night or prototype night. And some of those guests we would like to have come back, but they've all said, Tuesdays just don't work well for them.
I'm actually surprised how many game nights are scheduled on Tuesdays.
I'm surprised as well. And that's one thing that this podcast has definitely taught me about that. And then, of course, Roy and his crew, Tom and all them, they do their game night on Tuesday night. And so I've got something going on, or I had something going on just about every night of the week. And I already have an event going on every Monday, but that's from 7 to 8. And so I talked to my wife, and I was like, hey, I could just have a really long Monday night, or I could have something Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, because not every Thursday is a guaranteed something going on. But anyway, we're now moving it to Monday. I asked the guys, I said, hey, do you guys mind for the next 200 episodes? Can we do it on Mondays?
Holy smokes.
Right?
And then we'll pick it up on episode 400.
And we'll
do it on
maybe go back to another night of the week. If the world's still around, we could be blown up by then. Guys, that's years into the future.
We'll do it once a year.
It's basically like 50 episodes a year. So you're talking like...
We've been... Yeah, we're almost at 4 years.
Yep.
Matt's got the heavy
Matt, you know me for over 4 years now.
Getting old.
You're getting old. The youngest... You're still not even in your 30s. Man,
I know. See, that's the problem there, right?
What are you, 25, 26?
28. I'll be 29 in June.
Oh, you're 28.
I'm rubbing 30. I'm rubbing 30. That's why I say I'm old, because it's like, it's not that big a deal, but when you're crossing over to the plane of 30, most people are like, it's like when you're crossing into 40 or, any of those things, you're like, oh my God, this is a milestone in life. I should have done something with it. And what do I have to show for it? Nothing.
So Here's the thing. I'm closer to 40 now than I am to 30.
Congrats.
Well, I mean, in September, it gets even closer because my birthday is in September. But yeah, so you're close to 30. That's cute. I'm closer to 40. 40.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I'm going to be the same way when I'm getting to 40 and you're getting to 50.
I mean, yeah, you know what? Every 10 years, we're going to run into the same thing. Hey, you're exactly right. I have a question for you. And somebody in chat just asked it, but I was going to ask you this when you got on. Did you end up backing Bloodborne?
Thank you for reminding me. I need to cancel it.
The question is, did you drop your pledge yet?
Yeah.
So why are you canceling?
I don't know. There's a lot of game there, and I feel like it's one of those sort of campaign things where
it's actually campaign.
Well, I mean, it might not even be campaign, but it's like one of those things that I don't know. I feel like I have a bunch of games that play the same way or pretty similar enough that it's like, cool, why play Bloodborne when I could play Kingdom Death? Not that, I've ever played Kingdom Death, but it's here.
Hey, yeah, you should do that.
Hey, you've already paid for it.
Why would I buy something that prevents me from playing something that I have and need to play,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see. I can see that being similar enough.
Yeah. It's like, plus the base game does come with a lot of stuff, and it comes with a couple of different campaigns and stuff. But then it's like they added so many other boxes. Like, you know how with like Zombicide and Horde, it was like, cool, you got the game, you got expansion 1, you got expansion 2. We'll throw in an expansion for free. That's it. But this is like, it's got 6 different expansions that you can get with it that are all additional add-ons. So you can get the full game for $250, and it's another thing where it's like, $250. Like, if I'm going to spend $250, would I rather get this, or would I rather get Tsukiyumi, or would I rather just put it to my house is falling apart fund,
or Batman.
Yeah. So like there's a lot of things, and it's like I really like Bloodborne, and I really like the minis, and I really like a lot of the stuff about it.
Whoa.
It just, I don't think it's captured enough of what I sort of want, which is just the Bloodborne game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
For me to be like, yeah. But it seems like it would be super cool, because it would seem like it would be almost sort of like a Zombicide with a bit more narrative lean to it, I guess.
Whoa.
Well, see, like, here's the thing. I'm with you, and that's probably why I'm not going to back Bloodborne, because I'd rather play Zombicide. Yeah. I like Zombicide. I've got a bunch of Zombicide stuff coming in already. It's just one of those things where I don't know. To me, the Bloodborne is not enough of a draw, and I never got into the show or the card game or anything like that. So
the show, video game,
isn't it based off of a comic or a show or something like that?
Video game.
Just a video game.
Oh, video game. I see.
See, you're real into it.
Yeah, I'm not, my interest in the game is Cool Mini or Not and Eric Lane.
Yeah.
And I like Cool Mini or Not games, but I'm afraid this is going to turn into Massive Darkness for me, where like I'm excited for it, and then I forget about it, and then I get the shipping notification, and I'm like, crap, am I going to like this? And then when it comes in, I'd rather play, like what you were talking about, Roy, I'd rather play Batman, right? Like, I don't have a lot of games in that sense where it comes to DC or Marvel, right? Like, I really want to pick up Thanos Rising. I think this summer I am going to pick it up. If I don't pick it up sooner, I'll probably pick it up at Dice Tower Con, because then you can do the cool stuff, free shipping to the con. I'll just order games every other day.
So.
Dude, I wish they made an expansion for that game. That'd be cool. Add in in-game stuff.
I got to download, or not download. I need to look up the characters so then I can go buy the HeroClix for them.
Oh yeah, it's not.
Because I love that you did that.
It's only 4.
Yeah, but
I guess technically 5 if you get the Thor promo or whatever. But I don't know.
Well, what about all the supporting characters?
Well, technically, I only use the HeroClix specifically for the
like the captains.
The captains, because you have to put the captains on the board in the middle. So I just put those out on the board in the middle when you're choosing which area you're going to try to recruit/fight at.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a lot of other games like Bloodborne, or I did. And every time I try to get one of those games to the table, it always ends up being Zombicide. So
Man, Bloodborne has so many buy-in things. Like there's things you have to buy into.
to me, that's kind of annoying, actually. And I think this is the first time I've seen CMON do it so hard and so heavy.
Six expansions. Like, it's huge. And I understand, they're adding different stuff, and, some of them come with, like, little campaign booklets and stuff like that, but it's just, like, it's a lot of content, but it's, like...
It's a lot of money.
I have a lot of content behind me that I haven't played.
Mm-hmm.
That's it right there.
I really want to, because I love the minis, and I would, if I had income, I would back it strictly for the minis alone, and if I played it, cool, and if I didn't, I got these neat things that I can place around the house to freak people out. But...
So... I'm afraid if I do buy it, I'll like it, and then I'll be pissed that I didn't back the extra stuff, because that extra stuff at retail, CMON, I love them, but they're not a cheap company.
Right.
No.
They are not a cheap company.
That's another weird ask is of your entire player base is, hey guys, we're making this game. We have the ability to bring it to retail without your assistance from the Kickstarter. We could just do it because we make, we almost print money at this point. And it's like, but we're doing it to kind of get a good gauge of what the interest is. And so we're adding all this stuff in, and it's really cool, and all that's great. And I feel like what it is it allows them to make the expansions immediately. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you would do it traditionally, you wouldn't be able to normally release a game and then have 6 expansions with it as soon as it releases. You might be able to get away with 1, maybe 2, but I just don't...
But Matt, you technically have it $10 off. I can't get it at $90.
I know. And then if I buy everything else, it's only $240.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Right, and it's just, well, great.
And then you get a decent amount of stuff for that base pledge, but then you're looking almost like if you couldn't see all the extra stuff you could buy, I would probably be more content with the game,
Yeah. I mean, and that's another good point is because
it would almost be a no-brainer if you just didn't know all that other stuff exists. It's like, oh, $90, and look at all these miniatures. Man, that's a lot of content for $90. And then you're like, oh, wait, but I'm leaving on the table all of this other stuff, and to get that, I have to spend another $250, and then this $60. Is this all the things separate, or are these each... other things you can buy? Holy smokes, that's a lot of things.
There are a lot of things. You can buy them together or you can buy them separately.
Okay, gotcha.
But then here's the other issue. Why spend all that money if you're really not going to play it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then the other thing, since it's on Kickstarter, you're very unlikely to have played it, so you either have to rely on what Cool Mini or Not says themselves or people that they've given it to preview. And so it's like, then you have to find somebody that you really trust and that you really sort of feel like you mesh with. Because it's, there are some people out there who will just take free stuff and be like, yo, man, it's great. You should definitely check it out. It's coming out on Kickstarter, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, for me, normally with previews, I don't necessarily pay attention to what people say about it. And good previewers don't give opinions on the game. But
they just show it.
Say what?
They just try to show it to you.
Right, they should show it to you and help you make the decision. Reviews,
man, I don't know.
Your opinions
it's
all day long.
It's got Eric Lang and also Michael Shinali. For those that don't know, Michael, he's the guy that created A Song of Ice and Fire. He's one of the designers.
Mm-hmm. They don't even have any videos on this Kickstarter, do they?
I don't think so.
They have their intro video.
No, I mean like people playing the game or previews of the game or anything.
No,
like
I think they learned from, what was it, Rising Sun? Where they had that horrible playthrough, remember? And the guy just
that was them, everybody. Right?
Yeah, that was them.
Well, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, they do have an gameplay overview of the board game, but this is done by them. So,
yeah. I don't know. I may back it just because there's so much. Matt, how about this? Matt, I don't want to say we go halvesies because then what do I keep half of it at my house and you keep half of it at your house.
Custody.
I mean, honestly, I feel like it could just stay at your house because you would be more likely to play it than I would. Right?
Chat, what should we do? Chat, should we back this game or not?
They're gonna say yes because it's not their money.
No, but I feel like we can trust our chat.
And they want you to tell them about the game once it comes in. But I guess at that point it's too late. So
Kent, I want to hear what Courtney has to say. Nobody cares what you have to say, Kent. No, I love Kent. I love Kent. I don't know. We'll see. You got it for the 90, Matt?
Yeah.
Alex, yes, it's not my money. I don't know.
Chat's terrible.
Here's the thing. This game is about to come out. Batman Chronicles, which Batman Chronicles is coming back out, and Roy was just talking about it. He played his copy, and he said it was amazing. He said it was a lot of fun. All the characters were individually strong.
Did you actually play Conan, Matt?
I think I played it once with you and Trevor, but I don't remember anything other than running inside tents and trying to open boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was some fighting going on around, like, a fence, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the game a lot. I like the fact that it's got that whole resource management system and the way the bad guys work.
You talking about Conan or Batman?
Both. I mean, the system is the same.
I didn't care for Conan. I thought my problem with Conan was everybody else's problem. Well, I had one additional problem. Conan was the one guy everybody wanted to be. Because he was like the one actual, I think, fully fleshed out character.
Right.
And then the other problem is Conan only came with like a skirmish mode, and it had like 4 scenarios. Like,
yeah.
Well, it didn't have a lot of variety or depth. That's one of the things that I like about Batman.
Of variety. And a lot of the characters seem pretty cool. Everybody was doing a lot of really cool stuff in the game.
That's why I'm about 90+% certain that I'm going to back.
I'm interested to see what else they bring in. I might end up backing the second Kickstarter too, so because I'm sure they're going to have more stuff than they had for the first one. So,
hey guys, I just got a text. I'm going to mute myself off real quick, but I'm still here, but I'm not here. Just hold on. I got to handle business real quick.
Bye. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I guess we can go ahead and start getting into our topic for tonight, which is game groups versus game days versus meetups. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. Have you ever been to a meetup before, Matt? Like a public, not like a con or like a public game day, but like a game group that meets publicly, basically, or like a public meetup thing.
No.
Gotcha. They have several in Winston-Salem, and the Dice Tower there's a meetup at Cool Stuff, which the Dice Tower goes to here on Tuesdays. But yeah, so I'll just kind of go over what the difference is in these 3 things. Of course, a game day is literally like, hey, you're planning a specific day to have some people over to play games. I mean, sometimes it could just be a night or whatever, but it's kind of like a one-off thing. Maybe you do it for a birthday. Maybe you do it for like a big event game or whatever. So you have specific people you're going to invite for that game day. A game group would be a group that meets more regularly. We used to basically do this at my house on Fridays. I'd be like, hey, everybody, every Friday we're going to play games. And we did it at a private place, and we all came together, played games. I had several different people rotate in and out, and some people would come sometimes, other people would come other times. And I had the core group that would come most of the time, you know. But then meetups are public events, which are held at game stores, or there's a lot at like restaurants and stuff like that. When I first started getting into the hobby, we used to meet at a meetup that was at a pizza place that smelled like grease. And when I came home, I smelled like grease. But it's cool because it was open to the public. Anybody could come. Anybody could find it on Meetup, and you get all kinds of people and like multiple tables normally of people playing board games. But yeah, which would you say you would prefer out of those 3 overall? Like if you had the choice and you could easily make any of them happen, what would you think would be the best for you?
If I can make anything happen, I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up between game days and game groups.
Yeah.
Probably I would give favor to game groups because it's like I don't know. Sometimes at game days, if I don't necessarily know anybody, I'm very anti-talking to people. So I'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
sort of around for a bit. And if I feel like I don't have like an in conversationally to be like, so what's this game? Still looking for a person? Yay! I'll just leave.
Yeah, I guess the game groups are probably like the best, most tight knit, right? Because like you
Yeah.
see each other every week, same time. I mean, sometimes you come, sometimes you don't, but it's like, okay, I know what I'm getting into after you've gone the first couple times, you know? It's like, okay, it's the same people, same place, same stuff. And then it's just about, hey, what game we're going to play this week, you know?
Yeah.
I really like game groups a lot too. I think, honestly, I think I really enjoy playing the games in that setting of like just hanging out with your friends and like being able to sit around the table. And it's not necessarily as serious because you're not playing with strangers necessarily. So you can like hang out, goof around, do whatever, talk about whatever, all sorts of things, as opposed to just like, this is the game, we're playing the game. When you're playing with strangers, it's very much like out of respect. You're paying attention to the game, doing what you're supposed to do in the game, moving the game along, make sure everything's going great.
Yeah.
When you're hanging out with your friends, it's a little bit more casual, you know? Yeah, meetups are really cool to get in that public atmosphere and meet new people. I know sometimes for people that's gives you a little bit more anxiety, but it's really cool to meet new people. And of course, game days are good for those like event games that are hard to get to the table otherwise, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. You brought up a good point about just being able to sort of talk about anything. It's like one of the things that I sort of miss about the game days that you would have, or even just meeting up on Fridays like we did. It was we'd play a game, or we'd play 2 games, we'd play 3 games, you know, depending on, you know, whatever the length of it was we were doing. And then everybody would split up, and it's probably, I don't know, maybe 11 or 11:30, and we're all just sort of hanging out there, and like some people have left, but we're just talking, catching up, you know, just
eating snacks, hanging out, eating cheese and crackers.
You know, complaining about work, you know, just the usual.
Yeah. And I mean, even
stuff.
on those game days, either A, you'll have more random people that maybe you're not as familiar with there, or it's like, we're here to play this event game, and this is what we have to get done, you know? It's not get it done. I mean, it's still fun, but sometimes it's like, this is what we're here to do. This is what we're going to do, you know?
Yeah. But it's like you wouldn't go there if it wasn't going to be fun. Otherwise, that's work.
Right, yeah, for sure.
And you're sitting there going, all right, well, I'm ready for my paycheck. But
Rob, are you back?
I'm back.
What do you prefer in between game days, game groups, or meetups?
What do you mean in between?
If you had to pick one, whether it's a game day where you're like having a specific day, maybe it's longer, or maybe you're planning to play a specific like event game, basically, or a game group that meets regularly at a private place, or a public meetup where you're playing with all sorts of random people or just out meeting new people when you play.
I don't know. It's really tough because I like all 3.
Exactly. Yeah. But they're definitely very different for me.
They are all they are all different. I love the game day, especially like hosting a game day or going to a game day, because I know who's coming and I have a pretty good sense of what we're playing. Mm-hmm. The private game group thing, I mean, that's always cool, you know, because it's typically for a big group of people that, hey, let's all get together type of thing. But then I also really like the meetups. In fact, that's how I got to know you, Roy, is I met people through a meetup here, and I thought it was cool. One, I really like getting to meet new people, you know, and I played a lot of games I never would have played before because that's what people were playing at the meetup, and I was like, okay. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could. I mean, if I had one ultimate one, it'd probably be game day, because then I can know what snacks and I know what we're playing. And like to me, when I think of a game day, I also think of like TI4 days and other stuff where I know it's going to be like epic. Like, guys, we're getting together to play this game, or like Cabin Con. Like Cabin Con was like an ultimate game day. Like, we're getting together, we're playing these games, we're having an awesome time. Especially Saturday at Cabin Con. That was great. So yeah, if I had to choose one, it would be game day, but the other ones I enjoy as well.
Would you say what are like some of the pros and cons of each? Like, are there any cons to game
Well, the
days?
con
or-
is the con for the meetup is you. There's a good chance you won't know anybody, and you may have to play games that you don't like.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I'm in sales. I'm kind of a. I mean, I'm not kind of. I am a people person. Like, I feel like I can have a conversation with just about anybody. Um, a con is for some people that's not them, and they have to get a comfort zone. And then, if you're like a Euro gamer and they're playing all the mirror trash, that could be very uncomfortable. Or if it's opposite, so you may not like that. And then also you may not like the venue, but that's on you. You don't have to go to said venue. The game group thing, the cons about that, meeting up with a game group is you're literally playing with the same people all the time. It's like, okay, like that can get old. And also if anybody ever gets into a fight, people are stupid.
Yeah.
And that can like hurt friendships and hurt other stuff like that, where you just want to try to get together, play games. And it's hard not to keep personal life out of it when, people are in conflict with each other. And then the game day setup, the con about that, man, is suck. You now have to clean your house and host and make sure everything's cleaned up and, have snacks and other stuff like that for people. And then you'll buy enough food for the 10 people that RSVP'd and 5 will show up. And so it's like, okay, well.
And you have a pile of pizza left over? Hey, you just have
Yeah,
pizza
and you got
for
all
the
this
next 2
pizza
weeks.
and all this stuff. And like, of course, people are nice and they chip in, but then some of the people that are supposed to be there aren't there and other stuff like that. And also when you do like a big game day, if not everybody shows up that says that they were going to show up, well, like, for example, when we were playing Werewolf Legacy, which I really hope we do that in Dice Tower Con. I can't tell you how badly I want to play that Dice Tower Con.
It'd be a lot of fun.
What?
So it'd be a lot of fun.
Bro, it'd be so much fun. Throwing Adam and throwing some of our other people in there, and Kent and Courtney. Like, I think I'm going to blame Kent. I'm going to do what your wife and her partner Roy did to me, and whatever Kent says, he's a werewolf. Because that's what Heather and them did to me. It's like, oh no, and it was your sister-in-law. I was like, man, like, it doesn't matter what I do. Rob's a werewolf. So that can be the downside, is like you're trying to play a game like that and not everybody shows up, but you need set amount of players for it to work.
Yeah.
But I already said the cons in my previous one of what I liked.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of those. I mean, meetups are awesome because you get to play with strangers and meet new people, but they're also sometimes terrible because you have to play with strangers and meet new people.
Yep.
I've definitely had some of my, like a game that I love, I've played with strangers that just made it not fun to play. And I'm just like, you guys are cool, but I really hope that I probably never see you again. So, I mean, that's terrible to say, but
No, it's honest, and that's one of the great things about doing that is like, okay,
And then
I know if I ever go back, I don't have to play with those people.
And then I've met people where it's like, holy smokes, you're amazing. You should come over to my place and play games. You should come to my next game day. You should come to my game group, whatever,
And that's how we started.
I feel like I would go to these public meetups and find people for my game days and game groups and then be like, okay, we're now friends on Facebook, and then I'm going to invite you to these things,
Yep. It's how you trick them.
How would a person go about starting any one of these 3 events?
I mean, I'll let you guys answer because I just talked a bunch.
For me, game days are pretty easy. I mean, the main thing is you have to pick a day. That's like the hardest part, is find a day and stick to it. It's really hard if you're trying to like play the field and be like, hey, is this good for you? Is that good for you? A lot of times you really just have to be like, this is the day it is. This is the day I'm planning it. I'm going to invite all these people. Normally you invite more than you need to play the game because half the people aren't going to show up, and then 3 more of the people that said they're going to show up are probably not going to show up. So invite extra people and then be like, okay, this is the day we're doing it. And then honestly, I use Facebook events a lot, and I'll try to add people on Facebook events. I have friends that don't use Facebook, Matt. And then you just text those specific friends and be like, yo, this is the day that thing is, or email, or maybe you send them a postcard. I don't know. Maybe they don't have the internet or electricity. Maybe you have to use carrier pigeon or ravens. I don't know.
But that's why board games are fantastic, because when you don't have electricity, you can still play them.
Exactly. I mean, doesn't break your Amish code if you're just moving wooden blocks around, right?
That's right.
As long as you're doing it by candlelight, I guess.
Or play during the day.
There you go, with the windows open.
Now I just wanted to see a skit now of a bunch of like Amish people
being
all
introduced to
playing
board games.
Just sitting around playing Power Grid. Yeah.
Electrifying the United States.
They're just hanging out. It's like, well, Jedediah, it's your turn.
Time to do math. They pull out the abacus and start.
That'd be pretty solid. I feel like that would make a good board game, like skit or sketch for one of the comedy units.
For sure. If you're listening out there, shut up and sit down.
You do a sketch comedy
Free
group.
idea. Let's go.
Free idea. Make it happen. Awesome. Game groups are a little bit harder because you have to like figure out a day and have actual people that are willing to actually stick with that day. But it's one of those things again where it's like you're not going to have people show up every single week, but you try to get enough people to make games happen each time. And it's definitely really cool. Me and Matt were talking before you got back on, Rob, that game groups are cool because you get to really know the people you're playing with. Like game days, sometimes it's like, okay, they might be the friends of the host or different people you don't necessarily know. But a game group is like a tight knit group of friends that come back and see each other every single week. So you get to, it's like the most casual gaming, it's like, okay, what game are we playing this week? And then you get to spend time snacking and talking and just hanging out, as opposed to necessarily being about like, we're here to play this game or that game. Game days are normally like focused around specific games or like, we're here to play the games, as many games as possible. Game groups can be a little bit more relaxed sometimes,
Yeah.
And if you want to start a game group, you just have to have a place or time to do it. Normally they're more private events, so you would host it at your house in your game room or whatever you have, and find a day and invite people that over to make that happen. Meetups, there's of course the Meetup app, and normally you would have to find a lot of game stores. If you have a game store that doesn't have like a Meetup or anything like that, a lot of game stores are trying to get more foot traffic into their store, and depending on what days they have other events going on, you might be able to start a meetup at a game store if you have one. And even if you don't have a local game store, there are a lot of like cafes. We have a meetup group that meets at a ice cream shop in Kernersville. They meet at an ice cream shop like every other Wednesday or something like that. Or was it Tuesday? Maybe it was Wednesday.
I know groups that meet up at Panera Bread.
And then there's groups that meet up at Panera Breads. There's groups that meet up at pizza places like I was talking about. There's just like all sorts of different places. Of course, you have to like talk with the owner of the establishment and make all that stuff happen. But if you spin it the right way and be like, hey, we're going to be bringing people in each week and they will patronize your business, and people, if they're here, they're going to be buying drinks and buying food and things like that at your place. And it's just another way to bring people in each week. We'll just need this much table space or whatever, how much you would expect. But yeah, and a lot of people use the Meetup app to help advertise that group so that people can find it. I think Meetup, you have to end up like actually paying to run events on it or something like that. But I don't think it's... Yeah,
I think there's a small to like host a Meetup group.
But
it's like a small fee for a year.
A lot of gamers out there know about Meetup, so when people are new to a town or when there's board gamers, people actually look on Meetup for board game groups. So that's one way you can actually start a local thing, and maybe it'll get big. Who knows? You might have a giant group. Could be fun. Who should you invite to your gaming events?
Matt, you want to take this one?
I feel like friends of yours that you think might like games, or if you've already got people that you know like games.
Right.
You can prospectively always invite people, acquaintances from work, stuff like that, especially if you have common interests. It's an easy way to sort of get a group together. I don't know. I feel like most people are always looking for a group or something to sort of be a part of, but everybody's just like, I'm not going to talk to anybody, so I'll just hang out over here.
Yeah, a lot of times you can find people that if there's people that you already know are into like video games and things like that, and they don't really know about board games, or they kind of know about board games but have never really tried it out. I mean, they might be interested in trying stuff. Of course, you don't want to like slam them with Brass, Lancashire, and TI4 the first time they come over, but you can try out like gateway games. They're gateway games for a reason because they help people get into the hobby and know what's going on. Start with the lighter stuff and the fun stuff that people really enjoy, a wide variety of people like, and then build from there based on people's interest, But yeah, I wouldn't, if somebody seems excited about coming to a game day or game night, I would be like, okay, cool, yeah, let's do it. If you have people, I know some people are so eager to push their hobby on people sometimes they go a little bit overboard. So if there's somebody that doesn't seem like that's something they'd want to do, you don't have to go too crazy either.
Yep.
Just try to have fun, I mean, I feel like there are board games out there for everybody, and anybody would like a game if they were playing the right ones. But, sometimes people are a little bit more shy about that. So, what's a good number of people to have at these different types of events?
I think a good number is between 6 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll take it a step down, 5 to 10. If you have closer to 10, you can get multiple games going at the same time. But if you've got 5, there's a lot of really good games that play around 5 or 6 players that justify getting everybody together type of a thing.
Yeah.
So I always try to invite a little bit more than 10, but I'm hoping for at least 5 to 10 to show up. Yeah. Depending on what we're playing. Unless we know it's specifically like a TI4 or something where it's going to be all day.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it's dependent on the space you have at the place you're at. Like if you're doing it at your house and you only have a kitchen table, you want to make sure you have the right amount of space to accommodate the people you're inviting over. But a lot of games play solid at 4, but if you have a game group, you probably want to have more than 4 people that you're trying to invite each week, because then you're not going to be able to play those games when somebody has to take their dog to the vet or something crazy. I don't know why that came up, but
a dog.
Yeah, I don't know why that's the analogy I used. It was just off the top of my head. But yeah, and of course game days. Like I've had huge game days where I'm like, it's my birthday, I'm inviting everybody I know that plays board games that I like.
You have a mini con at your house.
And there was a year where, I think it was before you guys started playing, but a year when my wife had gone to Disney when Scotty was real young. So my wife was out of town, and I did a 2-day game day thing at my house where everybody brought over bacon and snacks and just ridiculous amounts of stuff, and everybody slept on the floor and the couches, and we cooked tons of bacon and ate bacon and played board games, and it was pretty dumb. But it was fun, and all the people that showed up to that still bug me all the time. They're like, "When's the next RoyCon?" Even when I moved down to Florida, they were like, "Dude, are you having RoyCon? Like, are you having it down there? Like, we'll come to RoyCon if you have it." And I'm like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" I was like, "You guys should just come to Dice Tower Con." We're like, "We don't care about Dice Tower Con. We want RoyCon." And I'm like, "Okay, sorry guys."
Well, those people are now not invited to Cabin Con, so I would like all of their names to make sure they're not invited.
Because they'd smoke up the cabin with bacon? I don't know.
Because they're only about RoyCon. So that's fine.
I mean, to be honest though, if you were like, "Yo, I'm gonna do a RoyCon," I would probably come down, and I would come down 50% to play games and hang out with you, and the other 50% to go to the pizza place that is way closer to you than Dice Tower Con.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, didn't you almost drive, or you thought about driving to Miami to go to that pizza place?
I thought about driving the 5 hours to Miami and then going to the pizza place and then driving the 13 or so back home. And I was just like,
what?
Nah.
What is the place even called?
Oh man, if you wouldn't have asked me, I would have been able to tell you. Lucale.
Lucario? That's a Pokemon.
Yeah, man.
Isn't it like ice type?
No, it's no.
I don't even know. He's white. I figured he was ice type. I don't know how this works.
No, he's blue and black.
Oh, Lucar. And yeah, you're right. For somewhere I was thinking Lugia. Rob's like, I have no clue what you guys are talking about.
But no, it's called Lucali. The original one was in the Bronx in New York, and then they've opened, I think, only the one in Miami. The other one, so
Fighting Steel.
I was like, it's easier to get to Miami than it is to get to a borough of New York, I feel like.
Thanks, Josh. He's like, Lucario's blue-black. You're right. And he's in Smash. I know who he is. Anyway, yeah, what's the next question? Any tips for people that are anxious about getting a game group together to play games, or even going to these meetup groups to meet people in public?
I'm not going to be helpful at all for that one.
Matt's like, I'm right there with you.
I'm like, I'm awkward all the time. Awkward, anxious. Even when I'm inviting friends over, I'm just like, woof, gotta clean, gotta do this, gotta
Yeah. Well, I mean, you always want to have a presentable place.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a little bit of an introvert, I'm not saying you have to talk to everybody, but just smile. You'd be surprised how much a smile can help tear down walls for other people. Because if you come in looking like a deer in the headlights, and then they come in like that way, it's like, okay. Smile. Also, it may not be a bad idea to have some type of background music, so it's just not that awkward silent when nobody's talking to each other.
Yeah.
So a little bit of background music, whether it's like theme music for what you're playing or just, a top station that you guys like or something like that. And try to be positive, especially if you're hosting. If you're hosting, it's not about you. It's about the people you invited. You are the host. You brought up this venue. They are guests. So don't try to pull rank, something like that. Unless you're inviting people to play a specific game or something like that. Don't be petty. If that makes sense. But just have a good time. Smile. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, and if you go to these meetup groups, a lot of times the host there will be trying to get you into a game and be polite, and a lot of times you'll see people setting up something, and I'm sure it's hard to be like, oh, can I join in or whatever, because I've definitely been there and seen people do stuff. That's one of the reasons hey, maybe going to a small game day or a event game thing like International Tabletop Day or a recon type thing. If there's small local cons, that might be a fun thing to go to, or go to something like Dice Tower Con because they have tons of player wanted signs, or hey, I want players or whatever, or teachers wanted signs and stuff like that. So it helps break the ice for that sort of thing. Hey, if somebody's sitting there with a players wanted sign, they want people to join their game. So it makes it easier to be like, oh, hey, you need players, or if you want to set up a game and put down a players wanted sign, if it's a game that you know and like, then you can throw one up and maybe people will come and join you, and you can make new friends and make people that, especially if it's a local game thing, maybe you meet people from the area that you can end up starting your own game group with, or inviting over to game days. Because me and Rob, the thing we met at was I think it was a Christmas game event that somebody had put on. I don't remember. It was in December, and it was just
I think it was a mini mace or something like that.
No, it wasn't actually even mini mace. It was something that Brandon had put on. But there was
a Boy Scout thing. I think he was trying to raise money for his son. I know it was open to people.
Right. But it was a bunch of the guys invited from the local meetup. Everybody was invited from that. But I had gotten invited to it, and I was like, oh, game day thing, cool. And, of course, a bunch of people I already knew from the game. A bunch of my other gaming friends were already going, but I got to meet other people in public as well. So that's cool. And always, take your friends to these sort of things, too. If you have friends that are already sort of interested in gaming, that might help you. If you and a friend go to a public meetup, then you guys can both together, or guys and gals, can both together meet new people, and find new friends that way too. It's always cool to get plugged into these things. What is the best part about gaming events?
For me, it's the people. I love meeting the people, or if I'm not meeting you, then I'm already your friend, and I love getting together with my friends. So I enjoy the hanging out. Like I will play games I don't care for, but with the right people, I'll have fun. Like for example, Courtney and Kent, and even Mark, they're more Euro games. I don't care for Euro games that much, even though there's some that I'm starting to really like. But I really enjoy Kent, Courtney, and Mark, and so I'll play with them. So it's great to see them. And then when Matt's there, to be able to throw that in as well because he likes more Euros than I do. So it's the people. I will come to hang out with you guys because I like you. And if I don't come, then maybe you should evaluate yourself.
I mean, I always talk about at the beginning of this podcast that this is a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. And it's kind of interesting, like how we have so many stories and things that have happened during games we play, and we get to hang out together when you play with people and build relationships and like, oh yeah, remember when we did this or when we did that? And it's kind of like a interesting, unique thing that board games create is you get to like kind of create these like moments together and then like build upon it. I don't know. There's so much like just staring at your phone or looking at your computer or playing video games or watching a TV show. And yeah, you can like talk about, oh yeah, remember when that thing happened in this thing? But there's something about like playing these games together where it just makes you remember, oh yeah, we did this and we did that, and remember when this person did that thing, or remember when we were all going up against that boss and we took him out and like at the last second, remember when AJ went insane in Mansions of Madness and was like shooting everybody up and he wasn't actually the bad guy. Remember he was forced to do it.
When Roy betrayed AJ and Rex?
I've never done such a thing.
We talked outside about that almost longer than we played the game, and that's not a short game.
And I was like looking out the window like, what are you guys doing? Like I literally remember looking out the window being like, why are they still here? And I was like, I've done such terrible things, they probably don't want me to go out there and talk to them.
It was
I wasn't even allowed to go outside my own house or else I might get beat up by the mob from betraying. Anyway, you're the one who betrayed us, Rob. Come on. Me and Hector worked hard.
I did that for AJ.
Me and Hector worked so hard to make you win that game.
No. You were begging me not to betray, but I told AJ at the very beginning, I said, look, man, if it comes down to it and I have to betray, I'll do it. And I wasn't going to do it, but then he was like, Rob, you promised, because he was so mad at me, bro. He was so mad. He was like, you promised, you got to try it. And so I threw down my card, and I got lucky I had the high card.
Do you wish you were able to go to more gaming events?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine's just
work
time and work. My family's really great about it. Like they understand that this is my escape. Yeah. Right. So like my wife is like, great, go play. You could be doing so many other things. I'm glad that you're doing this, blah, blah, blah. And so they're fantastic about it. But it's just,
she says like you could be doing other worse things or you could be doing so many other better things. I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, I mean, I think to them, worse things.
You could be doing so many other things than playing games, Rob.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's, yeah.
No, it's fun because it's that time to actually relax and hang out with people and build friendships. I mean, you never know. I mean, I've built plenty of friendships through gaming, and you never know when like you can help each other out with these gaming friends. I mean, I've helped gaming friends move. I've helped gaming friends do all sorts of different things, and the friendship I think like persists outside of gaming itself. Yeah. Which is really cool. But yeah. I really wish I was able to go to more things sometimes. I miss like when I had the weekly game days at my house back in North Carolina. I mean, I was missing that for a long time while I was still there as well. But
Kent Parker.
True though. It's true.
It depends on the drug.
You meet some real interesting people in High Point.
Nice. What was I gonna say? But yeah, that was one of the things is like Tuesday is like, man, I really wish I could get up there to go to game night, but it's so far away and things like that. It's like, I I almost wish that we had a meetup group that was closer and not all the way up in Miami. But yeah, there's all sorts of different things like that. What do you think is the number one barrier for people starting or going to gaming events?
Social anxiety.
Yup.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a tough one because, I mean, some people that's
a real big issue.
That's just the way it is, you know.
And even if they're not socially awkward, it's that social idea of, oh, that's nerdy. Oh, am I going to be looked down upon? Or am I this? Like, who cares? Who cares, right? Go and have fun. Like, but this whole stigma behind it, it's just, it's that, and then I would say the introvert, type of thing.
It's just baby steps, like try to find small things to go to, or try to do things that you're comfortable with. And I mean, that's part of, I know it's hard, but sometimes part of growing as a person is stretching yourself to do things that are hard to do sometimes, and just reaching out, and maybe it'll be a thing that becomes a thing and you find closer friends because of it. And I feel like that can be worth going through the anxiety, sometimes. Because I mean, I've definitely been there. Well, it's always weird when it's like you don't know anybody,
Yeah.
So, but then you get to know people, and it's awesome. Cool. What's the next thing? What events and cons can people find us at?
Well, I'm going to Cool Mini or Not Expo, at least for a day. And then I'm going to the Dice Tower Con. And I don't know what I've got going on after that. But I would like to go to other stuff.
Yeah, man, gotta put Cabin on the list.
I know, right?
Gotta start getting that branding out now.
What?
Cabin Con.
So we gotta start getting the branding for Cabin Con out now. So we can
that's
go.
right.
Once we get big, we can invite our core group of Cabin Con aficionados and then start selling tickets off for outrageous prices.
So I'm gonna start
We got
trying
9
to.
slices.
I hope it never gets that way, but that would be amazing. I can't imagine trying to rent out a cabin big enough. That big.
For like an actual con.
You rent out like a place that has just a whole bunch of cabins, and then has like a common area where the convention is at.
We just basically go to an abandoned Home Depot that's still got a bunch of wood in it. We're like, here we are, the woods.
Wait, what?
The woods.
Yeah, we've made it.
But yeah, I'm going to start trying to be more regular at the meetup on Tuesday nights. That's at the Kindle, which I think is called Cool Stuff Miami location in South Florida, if anybody's around that area.
Whoop, whoop.
That's Tuesdays, and I think they start pretty early, like at 6 or 6:30 or something like that, until later on. So hey, if anybody's ever in South Miami, hit me up. Or South Florida, hit me up at that. And then I think the last Saturday of each month, they do a Dice Tower meetup, which I feel like the last few, nobody from the Dice Tower has been at. I think because they rescheduled one for a Magic pre-release, and then it's just okay, cool, it's the Dice Tower meetup, but the Dice Tower is all out of town. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, right now is y'all's busy season.
Right, and it's just going to get busier because I think the last Saturday of this week, we're all going to be at CMON Expo, and at they're going to be in the UK or something.
Well, it's not this week; it's next week, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean the end of the month. I'm not sure if Saturday falls at the end of the month before or after that. Oh, yeah. But yeah, and so I'll try to go to that, and I'm going to be at Cool Me or Not Expo. I'm going to go to Origins. This will be the first time I've ever gone to that. So I'm going to CMON Expo with Sam. I'm going to Origins with Z. So that should be fun. And then I'm going to Gen Con with the Dice Tower because that's all hands on deck doing that. I'm going to Dice Tower Con. I'm going to... I think we're going to PAX Unplugged maybe? I don't know. There's a bunch of things. Tom was all like, when I got this job, he's like, you know, you're not going to be able to go to all the conventions. And then what does he do? He scheduled me for all the conventions. So I'm not complaining that much, but it is a lot of things.
Sounds like it.
That's just that getting you in the door talk where it's like, all right, we can't actually do all of this stuff that you're probably going to want to do because you're really into board games. Anyway, now that you're inside, look at all this wonderful stuff.
Well, he's just like,
It's like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
Exactly. He's just like, well, you're probably not going to get to go to UK and Essen. I'm just like, okay. I never did before.
Yep.
So, and it was not expected. But yeah. So hey, I'll be at these things. People hit me up. And hey, Matt, you should come to PAX Unplugged.
I'd like to. We'll see how it shakes out the rest of the year.
I may go, Matt, if you go.
I'm kind of trying to look for a new job, so if something pans out, I'll probably.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Getting a little rough out here, but I don't know. Put on applications.
Put me down for that reference. Matthew Young? You want to hire Matthew Young? Bro, I will do Patreon voice.
Oh, what?
Matthew Young? You're talking about the CEO of All Things Smelling Good, a.k.a. Cheese Factory, a.k.a. Mr. Love, a.k.a. You're only lonely for a little bit until you hug him and then you're never lonely again. That Matthew?
Now that's a selling point. If I've ever
Get out of here. And your last name's not Young. I'm sorry. I was talking to my insurance guy, and his last name is Young. And that's why I said Young.
I was real confused for a second. I was like, are you just saying that Matthew is young? Like, I was just trying to figure out what's going on.
Matt Robbins.
I want to say,
Robbins?
How many years has this podcast been?
Sorry, it's it's not outside out of mind because Matthew's in front of my face. But when you're typing up stuff for clients, listen.
The words blow
Matt
a bit.
Robbins. Robbins. You mean he fights? He fights crime for you? He's that good? Robin and Batman? Matt Robbins? Get out of here. Come on, let's go. Hire that man.
Hey, man, fun fact. Speaking of which, a long time ago, a high school buddy was like, hey, man, I will pay for your child's college tuition if I can name them. And I was like,
What?
Deal. Because, college is expensive. And he was like, cool. All right, your child's name is going to be Batman. I was like, yeah.
And Robbins.
Yep, just one thing sort of looks like it's, something that's just like, oh, actually, I went to India for a small bit, and I really fell in love with the culture there, so I just brought home a name. Just complete nonsense.
Batman.
Oh,
Matt Robbins? Sir, let me tell you, you are costing your company money by not hiring him. And whatever you offered, triple at the lowest, triple. You'll be losing money. Where are you at right now on your stock portfolio? That's disgusting. Get Matt on there.
I just go in there like, so have you ever done any of this? I'm like, not at all. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Come on,
Quick.
Matthew.
They'd be like,
Chuck
well, you
Norris, Robin?
have some really strong references, Matt. I've just heard great things about you. And I've heard you smell like wood scent.
Yeah.
Nice.
What is this? You were the CEO of a cologne factory? Like, what is this? Is it true 87% of your body's cheese? I don't know if our healthcare will cover that. We don't have a cheese plan. We have a blood and plasma plan, bone and skin, but not a cheese plan.
Nice.
Matt Robbins.
That big cheddar infusion.
Well, we do want to say thank you to everyone out there for 200 episodes of the Epic Gaming Night podcast because, you guys are awesome.
We're only doing it for you.
Yeah.
Completely not joking.
At first it started out, it was kind of fun, and now that we've gotten to know you guys, we come here to talk.
I want to do this to come hang out with you guys. Because, I mean, I can text Matt and Roy whenever I want, but I can't text you guys.
And I'm actually super excited to see that the crew is pretty much here. even though it's Monday. So I was kind of worried for like the longest time. I was like, if we switch days, oh no, we're gonna lose all of our chat.
Well, I'm excited to see how Monday turns out, and the more and more we do it, the more normal it becomes, and as we get more guests and stuff like that. I really want to get Emerson back on the show, man. I want to know what's going on with Metal Gear Solid and some of his other stuff.
I haven't heard as much about that since it was announced, so we got to make that happen.
We got to make that happen.
Awesome, guys.
Also, side note, next week is going to be interesting for me. My wife is going out of town Saturday through Thursday, and so I may be doing the show with a 1-year-old in my lap.
You don't have that nighttime schedule thing worked out?
Bro. Nope.
Listen, I am a single dad this week. You know where my kids are? Sleeping. But they're not one. I understand
Well, it's because... Never mind. I was going to say that, and it was not going to be...
Duct tape them to the crib. I'm just kidding.
No, girl's loud. She is loud.
Use soundproofing baffles on the walls.
I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for putting up with us. We do love you guys. Yeah. And where can they find us, Roy?
Awesome. Well, we stream these now on Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. Thanks so much to all of our amazing patrons for helping support the Epic Gaming Night podcast. You can check that out if you want to support us at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night. Also, make sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Epic Gaming Night, at Shades of the Mind, and at Gaming Newman.
Board Game Newman.
Board Game Newman. It's been like 2 months now.
Yeah, it's been Board Game Newman for a while.
But yeah, and also make sure to check out all the stuff over on the Dice Tower. Dude, I do editing for the Dice Tower, and I did this transition on the...
Is that what you do?
Lord of the Rings. No, I mean, I just sit there. No, the Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. I did this transition that was like, yeah, I was like, Tom was like, how are we going to get the iPad thing on there? I'm like, just iPad record it. And I was fussing with him about that. I was like, just do this and this and this and this. And it turned out great. But then I was like, oh man, I need to get this transition of the app. I had the app coming up from like down on the table, and like it pops out of the iPad and like comes up to the screen. And I was like, yeah, this looks cool. And I didn't really think that much of it. Like the first like 3 comments on the videos were like, oh my goodness, that transition was so amazing. But yeah, I'm starting to get used to Final Cut, Kent. It's taken a while, but I'm starting to figure out all the tips and tricks. I've been watching YouTube videos, so hey, good times. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Girly Gamer, next time get on early. We come on at 9 o'clock. Everybody that's in the chat, we love you. Have an amazing night. Peace, everybody.
You're all the best. Peace.
You
Bye.
are all the best.